Good morning, everyone. This is Nadir. I'm one of the instructors here. Can you guys please let me know if you can hear me clearly? Uh, Perfect. Um, we'll be starting shortly. As you guys can see, the timer's going. We will begin in about two and a half minutes. So please get your coffee ready or your energy drinks, whatever you need. And I will see you guys in a couple of minutes. All right. Once again, good morning, everyone. My name is Nadir. I'm one of the instructors here at Test Pro. Obviously, we're going to be going through our presentation today. Give me just a second. We're just getting set up real quickly. I just have to get these guys taken care of. 1 second. All right. Thank you guys for that. So again, just want to make sure before we get started, everybody can hear me clearly, see me clearly, can see the presentation. Anytime during the presentation, if you guys, if there's something, my voice is cutting out or I'm mumbling, talking too fast, talking too slowly, please let me know in the chat. If nobody tells me anything, I won't know, and I'll continue going my speed. Depending on when the coffee kicks in, my speed gets faster. So please let me know if you guys are having some confusion or any. I'm sorry if you guys are not able to hear me clearly or see me or see the presentation. And so, with that being said, let's get started. So, what's on the agenda for today? Obviously, this is your intro session. We're going to talk to you about, or I'm going to talk to you about QA and the bootcamp itself. We're going to get into a little bit more detail about how to test, what exactly it is that we're going to be teaching you in this course. We're going to do a little bit of a practice session, and obviously at the end we have a little Q&A sesh, just so you guys can ask questions and stuff. All right. Hello. This is again, it's an introductory. It is the first lecture, but it's also an introduction. So if you guys are aware, you guys do get first 3 sessions, if I'm not mistaken, as a complimentary session before you guys get into the full course, and we take it from there. Also, if you guys stay until the end of the webinar, there's a chance for you to win. As far as I remember, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me, Dennis or Azad, they get a free course, right? Yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, so you guys one of you guys can actually win a free course, and trust me when I tell you, it can change your life. All right, not to sound like a what do you want to call it, cheesy line or something, but trust me when I tell you this. All right, so who are we? Let's talk about TestPro. As far as TestPro, because we started in 2018. Azad, Dennis, these guys have been the founders of the company and stuff, and they have been doing meetups, or they used to do meetups when we lived in the real world. Now I think it's kind of calmed down a little bit. 90% of our students do receive an offer within 6 months of the graduation period. Some students actually get hired before they're even done. It really depends on your level of understanding of the material, your confidence, how you can kind of get out in the market. Really just depends on you. So far we've had over 160 students get hired. Obviously our classes are virtual. I think in 2020 everything is virtual, so luckily we were ahead of the curve, so we've been doing this for a while. We are PE certified, again, so that we're a educational institution, basically, is what this documentation shows. Just again, you guys are aware the certification is there. This is everything is on the legit up and up situation. So just to keep that those fears allayed, that there's no concern that this is something that might not be what's the word I'm looking for, certified, right? As far as the community of testers is concerned, this is one of the things that's going to be huge for you guys. Just a little master tip, basically. The more you can network, the more people you know in the QA community, the better it is for you. Majority of the jobs that people do get in any industry, not just QA, is through networking. It's about who you know. Sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So if you know the right people, you're part of these communities. Again, like you said, we've hosted one of the largest QA meetup group out there. Again, you do mock interviews, networking. Again, we used to do this when we lived in the real world. No more for now. Hopefully soon. But again, like I said, right, the more you can network with people and have a wide range of connections, it really does help you in the professional world.
Yeah, we do it over the Zoom this time.
It's not the same.
So, well, yeah, no, I agree with you, but everything is over, the Zoom or any other apps these days. But yeah, I kind of miss that real communication.
It's like actually, shake someone's hand. All right. Again, like this is one of the meetups that we had. I wasn't. This is before I actually joined. So unfortunately, I've never been part of a TestPro meetup. But again, this is just it's a community of people, right? The beauty of one of the best things about being in the QA brotherhood or sisterhood is that we are genuinely pretty nice to each other, and we help each other out, right? So that it's a good thing to be in this community because it helps you. You can help each other out. You can help your teammates out. You can help people that are looking for a career and stuff. It's a positive space to live in, basically.
Yeah, and the previous slide was basically just we were hanging out in the bar over there. It's in Los Angeles, and all of these guys are QAs. But I mean, it doesn't matter, right? It's not about QA. It's about nice people. So you can find a lot of friends actually.
Again, as you can see, the number of companies that we're supported by, we've been partners with these companies. We do mock interviews with them. We've placed people there as some of these companies as well. Um, Again, so we've got a wide range of companies that we work with. Gives you a better range of kind of options on seeing what we know what the market really is like, what products they're using, what software they're using, testing techniques, all that stuff. Um, keeps us prepared and helps us get you more prepared. So when you're out in the market. So again, obviously, what you guys have been thinking about, who is it out there that can become a tester, right? When I tell you it can be anyone that wants to put the effort in, that is absolutely true, right? Housewives with children, that have been out of the working world for maybe some period of time, people that are working in office clerks, some people that are in accounting, receptionists, stuff like that. Anybody that's in the front office, kind of tired of the grind, in that regards. uh Immigrants, right? Anybody that's kind of here and trying to find their way, also someone that it can easily get into this industry. Students that are currently even going to college and don't know what they want to do with their path there. Maybe you're a student that's studying psychology or ancient Roman history. I don't know what you're going to be able to do that in the working world. So if you want to figure out how to get a job a little bit quicker while you do your stuff on the side, this can be done as well. Again, anyone who's not happy with their current job, uh, it's an industry shift, right? So as soon as you think that whatever I'm doing right now is no longer good enough, I'm not happy. Um, QA is a very good direction to go into. And I misused a word earlier. I said easy. It's not easy. It's really about the amount of hard work you put into it, but it can be done. So who we were, right? What did we do before we got here? Before we became QA engineers, automation engineers, SDETs, literally everything. Uh, my personal favorite is that I used to be a bouncer at a bar, right? That was one of the things Zot used to do. I forget what Zot used to do, but I know Dennis used to be an Uber driver. Pizza delivery. I've done food delivery apps and stuff, like legit anything you can imagine I've done. At least that I can talk about in this presentation. But again, we all come from a wide range of where we started, right? What we started with was just the knowledge, like there is QA, it can be done. You learn, you put your effort in. And again, I've been doing this now for about 10 years, maybe a little bit over 10 years. I think Dennis is around the same. So I'm the same. Dennis is around the same amount of time. Uh, they're a little bit more advanced than I am because I like to be where I'm at. Again, this is me. Uh, like I said, I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. This is actually a little bit out of date. I actually found a new job around March, end of March, when the first lockdown happened. So I was able to get a new job in the middle of the pandemic, which goes to show you that. Well, actually, it wasn't even a job. I started my own company basically, which is a whole other. You don't care. Basically, I started working at a new project in the middle of the pandemic, so we should give you some pause, basically about, hey, look, that's possible. There's a few people that have that are from Test Pro or either work with Test Pro or were students that were able to find gigs during the pandemic. And if you can find a job during the pandemic in any industry, you can find a job during the good times, right? And again, those times are coming up again, and the job market is going to explode. All right. So again, like I mentioned, I've been doing this for about 10 years now, almost. I've had worked in different industries, real estate related applications, bunch of other stuff, right? So I've been all across the gamut. Also, we have Azat. If you want to go ahead, Azat, and kind of introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hello, guys. So my story, to be short, I started as a manual QA. I started like in Russia first. Then I moved here to California, and here, like as Nadir said, like I also, I didn't have a good English, so I didn't have like enough experience. So I had to work in the factory, producing this like a packages for post office, and I had to like sleep in the couch and apply for a job. So it took a time for me as well. Then I became a manual QA engineer here in Los Angeles. So I didn't want to stop my career only for manual testing, and then I started to learn automation. Eventually, I became a QA automation engineer in Beachbody, and then I changed my company again, and I became a software development engineer in test, and then I became a lead. So I had like a people who was like reporting me, and then like me and Dennis, we decided, okay, if we want to like why not to teach people, right, to become a QA. And like a couple years ago we started a bootcamp, and right now I still work as a software development engineer in test as a full-time employer, and I also help people to become a QA and teach in bootcamp. So yeah, if you will have any questions, here's a list of my social networks pages. So you can like add me on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about QA, and I have a LinkedIn page. So feel free to reach me out. Yep, and that's all.
Thanks, Azat. Again, Azat is currently at Beachbody, as we mentioned, one of the companies. I don't know if you guys have ever seen P90X commercials late night, 3 o'clock in the morning when you can't sleep. Beachbody is the company that works with them. It's a great program. I haven't I haven't used it in a while now since the pandemic, but it's a great program. And Dennis, please.
Thank you, Nadir. So I know many of you guys are seeing Zoom for the first time, which is all totally okay. Just FYI, so we have a couple of options here. So we have questions and answer. So if you click on that, it will be, it's the best way of answering questions and get a personal answer, basically. Otherwise, we have a chat option, and chat is mostly, I mean, it's chat, right? It's not that good for questions because there is a lot of people. People ask questions, so I can talk to each other and so on. So it just scrolls down very quickly, so we can miss your questions. So it's better to use questions and answer feature. On the other hand, in chat itself, I'm seeing a lot of people posting questions. So you have two options. So there is two buttons you can see, like drop-down list, and you can pick to all panelists or all panelists and attendees. So if it's to all panelists, then it's only admins will see this, your message. And I see a lot of people actually send messages to all panelists, but I know they mean to send it to all attendees. So just make sure that you select all panelists and attendees, so everyone will see your message. Okay. So anyways, let's start with my short story. So I came from St. Petersburg, Russia. I used to do interior design. You can see one of my latest projects. But here I decided, well, first of all, I started off with something else. I couldn't do interior design anymore. So one of my first jobs in the United States was basically waiting in lines for new iPhones. And that's not the best experience, but I got paid a little bit. for that. So that's kind of my top of the list. Professional waiter for iPhones. And then after that, I also tried some other things like moving, for example. This is actually a truck and the company. It's not advertisement, but this is the truck that I used to actually drive. And then also I did Uber, and I did both Uber, like just regular Uber, and Uber SUV as well. This is in fact my car here, just brand new on the very first day. But then I thought that I'm doing something wrong, because it's all, I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not satisfied with my job. So I decided to try something else. And luckily, there is a thing like QA that basically what we're teaching you. So within the 2 months, I got a job at Disney. So you can see the pictures of the office, and it's not even comparable to Uber or moving, right? Or iPhone lines. So yeah, it's a very nice environment, very nice people. So I just kept growing in a QA. And as of today, so you can see my profile here. I worked as automation engineer for Walt Disney Company. I switched within the company from just manual QA to automation. And then I worked as a QA automation lead for Toyota. So Toyota.com was my project. After that, I worked as a QA manager / test automation architect. I had 12 people reporting to me, and that was fun. But then I jumped on another opportunity, and that was United States Federal Census Bureau. So I worked for almost 2 years, and in fact launched Census 2020 in United States. And right now I'm working as a senior / lead software engineer in test. It's a very, very tough project, but it's for like Fortune 500 companies, such as Coca-Cola, for example, is one of the customers. So it's for financial reporting and accounting type of thing. So yeah, you can see some of the links on the right side. We also have a YouTube channel right there. Where is that? The last one, the Test Pro IO. We have a lot of videos related to QAs, how to pass interviews, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, feel free to check this out. And yeah, let's move forward. That's backward. Yeah, so this is something that I'm very proud of. You probably have seen these banners all across the United States. And yeah, I'm also a speaker. Well, it used to be like the real format. Now it's only virtual, but I'm actually author courses on Udemy as well as one of the first architects of this particular course, and it's QA 17. So it's we already had 16 courses like this, so we quite experienced. And just this summer, I was actually invited to become a chairman of SCQAA, which is Southern California Quality Assurance Association. It was founded 30 years ago. It's actually older than me. And it's a nonprofit community of QA professionals. So basically, I was recognized by this organization. So I'm seeing some. Can you guys hear me well? Everything is fine?
Yeah, we can.
I'm seeing a lot of people having issues. Hopefully you guys, okay, thank you. So yeah, we also have Marina. She's currently working as a QA lead for Disney streaming services in New York. And what's cool about that, she launched Disney Plus project worldwide. So if you have kids, probably you heard about this Disney Plus application, which is, I don't know, I'm seeing these ads like everywhere basically, and she actually in charge of quality of the whole project, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and we also have Anna. She's your coordinator. So if you have any questions, she probably will be answering them, but we will get to that a little bit later. And in fact, Team Test Pro, it's over 30 people involved. So you can see like the headquarter photo on the left here in LA. But we have so many people, in fact, over 10 hands-on QA field instructors. We all, basically all the instructors in Test Pro, we all working in QA field. It's very relevant experience. All right, guys. So let's actually, I know it's virtual, so let's maybe introduce yourself as well. So if you open, I hope you guys all in Telegram channel. So there is a button you see, leave a comment. So if you just click on that, you can post some information like your name, city, and some cool or funny fact about you. We will appreciate that. Unfortunately, this is the only way, virtual way of meeting people these days, but I will be more than happy to see, like, to hear a little bit more about you guys. And in the meantime, let's continue.
All right, so back to the reality. Why tech? Why IT? Why QA? Right? As you can see in this fantastic animation, top 10 fastest growing occupations for the next at least 6 years. I would say for the next 10 years. I think QA is probably one of the top 3 fastest growing occupations right now, in even within IT. Top 5 most in demand jobs, a lot of benefits, health benefits, perks, just work-life balance, everything. The median wage is $47.68. $47.68. 90th percentile, which is the top 90%, make about $70 an hour. Max wage is about $150 per hour. This is per hour, by the way. Again, all major cities right now, and you can work remotely as well. Again, it's not just about being in a major metropolis or major cities. Smaller cities do for sure have a lot of QA related jobs as well. Again, what are the benefits, right? You get high compensation. Companies give you stock options at points. You stay at a company for 2 years, they give you whatever, $40,000 worth of shares or something like that. 401ks, bonuses, insurance. Again, depending on who you are, family wise, personally, or whatever it is, health insurance is a huge expense. So a lot of these companies sometimes pay for your insurance. You don't have to pay anything out of pocket at all. Other places, they contribute, and then you have to kind of fill in the void. Again, it's better than nothing. It's better than Uber, right? They don't give you nothing. Some of these companies have gyms. Again, a lot of this stuff is like entertainment stuff. You'll have free snacks. I mean, you can literally do grocery shopping at your company at sometimes. Just pick up all the different bags of chips and stuff, and it usually works on the honor system, but whatever. Again, paternity leave, vacation, sick time, you get friendly environment, you can work from home, all that fun stuff, right? It's a whole package, right? Again, like I mentioned, the best way to describe it is to have a proper work-life balance. There's very rarely anything in QA that requires you to stay past your working hours or work overtime or something like that. And most people that are working full-time are salaried. And you have fun, cool stuff like this, a company-wide Nerf war, stuff like that, right? It sounds kind of silly, but it's fun, and it helps morale, and that's really how they're all about making their employees feel some type of way, to feel, to have a positivity in the workplace. So small things like this definitely have a good positive effect. As you can see here, right, these are all the different cities in the United States where there are currently the tech hubs. They're either emerging or current tech hubs. Like you got LA, San Diego. This doesn't show you. Okay, yeah, you've got Austin. Austin is huge. Tesla just opened up a new factory there. They're gonna have a bunch of jobs there as well. All up and down the East Coast, all the way up to Minneapolis, Madison, Wisconsin. Provo, Utah, Salt Lake City, all these different in Denver. I've had a couple of students that have gotten jobs in Denver myself that I mentored. So just recently. So again, it's all possible. Again, it's not just these cities. And a huge positive from this nightmare of COVID has been the fact that people have become more open to remote work. Right, companies that were totally against remotely working are now accepting people working remotely from other cities. So that's been a huge bonus in our industry, especially for QA. Again, some students from Canada, if you're interested in knowing, the economic impact of tech in Canada has been almost $200 billion in annual revenue. That's a lot. 39,000 companies, almost 600,000 jobs. Canada is, there's a lot of good stuff going on in Canada right now, especially with a lot of the socio-economic, political atmosphere in the States. A lot of people are moving to Canada, basically, in order to do IT jobs up there. They're a little bit more open right now. So again, it's not just the America; it's entire North America. I don't know if we have Mexico on here. We don't have Mexico on here, but I'm sure Mexico's got some QA jobs as well.
Yeah, no, for sure, because we actually call it near shore. So if you know, probably you heard about a lot of work is done by like very remote team. Like by very remote, I mean India, for example, or China, or Eastern Europe countries. So those are called offshore, right? But there is another thing that become more popular these days. It's called nearshore, and which is usually means Mexico, Argentina. I would say those two countries are the most popular. It's not limited, but it's much closer, and it's usually the same the time zone, which is because the problem with the offshore is basically the communication is very hard because of the huge time difference. So here it's actually becoming very, very popular these days. So yeah, definitely there is a lot of work in the Latin America countries as well.
And honestly, I mean, at this point, really, right, you can get a job and work remotely from another country. Right now, in the country of Barbados is allowing you to work from there. Basically, you can live like, I think you get like a 2-year passport stamp. And Barbados is like literally my favorite place in the world. I love it. I haven't been there in a while, but it's amazing. So if you get a QA job and they can let you work remotely, go to Barbados.
I think actually just this month, Cayman Island, they actually did the same. So they invite, because otherwise it's a tourist visa, but with the tourist visa, you cannot work and live there technically, but they actually give away those visas for anyone who makes over 100,000 K, which is, as a QA, you can do it. And you can live and enjoy the life, you know, by the ocean.
Imagine living in the Cayman Islands. Oh man, I have some friends from there. Ugh, it's a beautiful. I've never been, but they talk to me about it. It's be amazing. But Barbados, I've been to, absolutely paradise. I loved it. All right, so let's kind of move past our little daydreaming and get into the software testing. So what exactly is software testing? What are we doing here, right? This is so to put it very, very basically, if you're being a user, if you're a user of products, you're a user of Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, any of these things, right? You have what it takes to be a QA engineer, QA analyst, a software tester, basically, right? You are, anytime you're interacting with some sort of application, you know, you're touching a button, you're clicking a link, you're logging in, logging out, you're interacting with a system, right? Anytime you post a picture, anytime you delete a picture, anytime you double tap to like something, anytime you send a DM, that's all interacting with the system. That's being a user, right? So if you have experience with using different kind of applications like that, you already have a start. It's not a huge start, but it's a little bit of a start on becoming a software tester, being in the QA space. Everything is based on requirements and specifications, right? We're not doing anything. You're not expected to just jump into a QA role and just know everything off the top of your head. That's not how that works, right? They give you requirements. They give you information on what it is that they're expecting for you to do. Coding is not required. Again, like I mentioned, these two are geniuses, so they do their whole automation coding stuff. I do not. I'm a genius too, but I just don't like. Just kidding. I'm not a fan. For whatever reason, right? I've been doing manual testing now for 10 years. It's been good to me, and I like staying in that space. Um, but again, coding is not required. You're not going to be learning how to do any kind of programming, right? So that should be a huge burden off your shoulders if you're worried about the technical side of things. Lastly, it's not complicated at all. That's a double-edged sword, right? It's kind of surprising how simple it is, but it requires effort, right? So don't think that you're just going to sit in this course and all of a sudden, as soon as you're done, bang, somebody's going to come and give you a job. It requires effort on your end, right? Nothing in life worth getting is going to be easy, right? It takes some effort. So just be prepared for that. There's no magic bullet. We're not, giving you that. You're going to have to put the time and effort in. So why QA, right? Again, we have biggest thing is it's a less stressful job than being a developer, right? Developers are, they make only 15% more than us. If you guys actually want, let me make sure I have my pointer. Give me a second. All right. So they only make about 15% more than us. 15 to 20%, but they have maybe twice as much stress as we do, right? That's a big thing for them. Our interview process is relatively simple. If you do enough interviews, you will eventually get asked all the QA questions, and once you can do that, then you'll be able to get a job, right? Because you already know the answers, and for the most part, you've already gotten all the questions wrong, right? So at some point, you're gonna already know what you need to say in the interviews. The job is important, and it's a secure job for the most part, right? As secure as any job can be in 2020. Not any less, not anymore, right? But again, it's an important job. You're an important piece in the middle of a giant machine. Anytime there's an issue that, let's say you go on a website or something and it crashes, it's because either their QA was weak or the fact that they didn't have QA at all. Room to grow. This is a biggie here because from what you guys can tell from these two, from Asad and Dennis, these guys grew rapid, right? They grew super quick. They started off manual, and the next thing you know, principal, SDET, and leading teams and stuff like that. So you can grow. Again, like I mentioned, it's really up to you as far as what level of growth you're going to achieve and how quick you're going to achieve it. Again, top 5 in-demand tech jobs. Again, we are right at the top there as far as the best jobs in IT. To be quite honest, I've been doing this for a while. I've seen every single job out there, IT related. This is my favorite, right? Because it's a good job, man. And you can leave it at the office. You don't have to take it with you, right? And I mean that in every sense of the word. That peace of mind is very, very worth its weight in gold, is what I'd say, right? Again, and no formal education, right? You don't require a degree. There's no bachelor's or master's you can get in QA. Me personally, I never graduated college. I went to college for a little bit. I went to other people's colleges, but I never graduated. So again, it can be done, but you don't require any kind of formal degree or anything like that. Certifications and stuff really are overrated. You'll hear about ISTQB and all that stuff. It doesn't really get you anything necessarily. Again, if you guys can see here, the happiest jobs in America, we're right up there, top 2. I think, and it's super close. Look at that score, right? It's a 0.006 difference.
I have no idea why teaching assisting is so happy.
I guess because they just sit there all day and do nothing. But yeah, I think it's probably like those, like the kindergarten teaching assistants, right? Teaching little kids and stuff. So that might be why.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's like, imagine being a high school teaching assistant. But yeah. So again, but another thing you'll see here, right? systems analyst, IT specialist, data analyst, senior software developer, .NET developer, QA, everything in the IT space. I think like 8 out of 10 are in the IT space. We are, hey, Dr. Peter is a TA. Are you kindergarten or what? All right. So again, like I was mentioning, right? IT jobs right up there. There's two major industries in the United States that are going to be growing for the next 10 to 15 years. IT and healthcare. And we're not going to teach you how to be a nurse here. All right. So let's continue with the QA stuff. What's the demand really like? If you want to go right now, as I can see some of you already added me on LinkedIn, open up your LinkedIn, go into the job search and just type in QA and put the United States. You will see easily over 100,000 openings. And that's right now in the middle of a pandemic, right? Where companies are totally shut down. Excuse me. Where, I mean, everything is just kind of stopped, right? Now wait until it kind of really picks up. Next year, it's going to be a boom for all the entire economy because everybody's going to be coming out of lockdowns and people are going to be wanting to do more, spend more, hire more, work more, so on. Everything just more, or at least that's what I'm hoping. But that's the kind of the thing that the demand for QA is definitely there. Now, another thing, right? There's always a concern about automation versus manual QA, right? I don't want to get into too much detail, but I'll tell you this. Automation is there, it's always been there, and it always will be there. But the human touch is absolutely necessary, right? The machines can only do so much. Machines only do what you ask them to do, unless you've got some crazy, Google AI or something that's doing all that stuff. But even those things can't be trusted. So it requires the human touch. Looking at LA, again, LA is a big hub, right? Northern California is a big hub. San Diego is a hub. Dallas, Austin, all these cities. In LA, you can see there's about 2,000 gigs on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, is that QA in the United States? Or why is that? It's in LA. Sorry, you can see right here. Again, it just search your city, and I'm sure you can find something. If you guys can see here in Panama City in Florida, right, which is in the middle of nowhere. There's 72 results from at this point when they took this screenshot, right? So again, you can up and down the coast in the middle of the country, everywhere there are. I have a buddy of mine, actually my mentor. He just moved to Kansas City, Missouri, which is crazy because I was born there, and he just moved there, and now he works for the Chiefs. So he was my CTO basically, right? And he moved there in order to do that. So there's a big, increase in IT. What do you call it? Movement out in the Midwest. So again, demand during COVID, right? COVID, what's it looking like? Shout out to KC. How about them Chiefs? Again, right? There's all it's all there, right? These positions are there regardless of COVID or not. Obviously, COVID had an effect. It has had an effect on every single thing out in the world, but not to the point of where the job market has kind of diminished for us as QA. It's been there, like I mentioned, me personally found a job in the middle of right at the beginning of the pandemic where everything was really scary. And there's been other students that have kind of found jobs as well as it's kind of tapered off.
Yeah, I believe for the last week, 5 or 6 students reported that they got a job.
Very nice. As far as everybody's concerned, recording wise, we are recording, and we'll be sharing a YouTube link once everything is done, so you guys can watch the entire thing again. All righty. Again, Canada. Like I'm saying, right now in Canada, there's a lot of movement of people, of companies, of IT professionals, right? So there's quite a bit of openings in Canada as well. Canada is a gigantic country, all right? So I honestly, all I know is Vancouver, Toronto. I think that's it. I know there's like British Columbia and stuff, and I'm not really familiar with the geography, which I feel like a fool now because I'm good at geography and I can't remember anything about Canada. Great. Montreal, yeah, I know that they speak half French, half English there, right? stuff like that. So it's cool. But again, there's a lot of demand out there, regardless of country. I don't know if you guys, some of you guys are international or not, but there's a lot of demand in the Middle East, like Dubai, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia. I mean, again, that's nothing to do with us, and I'm not telling you that you guys should go out there and stuff or whatever. But there's a lot of demand out there too for QA. Trust. Hired during the pandemic. Again, these are the different students that were hired. One person got hired at Amazon. We've got other students as well, Microsoft, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we have Bank of America. We have Adobe. Myself, actually, I get hired in March. So it's like very, very small, just a fraction of the students that got hired during pandemic.
So this is the part that everybody's really curious about. Right? This is why you kind of sit through this whole conversation to find out. Just moved back from UAE. Yeah, I have a bunch of friends from Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and they love it there. I have not visited them in a while, but I actually used to live in Kuwait, which is another story for another time. All right. So again, like I mentioned, everybody is curious about how much money are we gonna make. So here goes. These are very, very conservative estimates. Average base pay is quite a lot off, but this is for Q. So there's 3 tiers, right? There's QA analyst, which is kind of the entry level, right? Then there's QA engineer, and then after that is automation engineer, SDETs, and all that stuff, right? So we're mainly going to be concerned with the first 3. The more deeper you get, the more kind of higher you get. So our the average basically off of, this is off of Glassdoor, right? The average salary for base pay off of for a QA analyst, again, first, probably like 1 to 3 years of experience or none even, is around 60,000. This is on the low end of the spectrum. If you live out in California, this is easily 75 to start off. If you live out in Florida, this could easily be 50, right? But it's just about taxes. It's about, what kind of job it is. If you're working a contract versus a full-time job, there's a lot of factors in play. That's why we're doing a very conservative estimate on what the average base pay is. And this is kind of the entry level. I can tell you personally, my first job that I ever had in QA, ever, 10 years ago, I was making 6 figures on a contract. All right.
What?
Yeah. Come on. It's me. But again, that was whatever, 10 years ago. But
What?
that's
10 years ago, it's like $1 million now.
well, I mean, back then, I was working. It was a quick project, but again, it's not to say that it's the more common occurrence, but it's definitely possible. 10 years is a long time back for sure, and it was a lot of money back then too. But again, but what you guys don't know is what it took me to get to that job, right? I'll tell you the story. Maybe I can just tell you the story right now. I lived in central LA, and I interviewed, and about 100 miles north, 100 miles south, 100 miles east, and it's 20 miles west to the ocean. So I interviewed 30 plus times at the 30 different companies. I went to San Diego. I went all the way to Santa Barbara, all the way out to Palm Springs area. I interviewed I'm telling you, about 25, 30 companies. And I was laughed out of some interviews. I made it to the final interviews in some places. I do the mentor sessions at Test Pro because I've literally done every single kind of interview you can possibly imagine with every single kind of company. And I've got all those questions wrong. And that's how I was able to get the one job right, was because I had answered every single question wrong at a certain point. And that at some point you just get enough questions wrong, you're going to get all those questions, in one interview, and you're going to get them all right. And then you're going to get paid. So moving on to the next tier, right? This is the QA engineer tier. This is when you're getting a little bit more experience. You got you're a little bit more well-rounded in your testing capabilities. You're in the mid 70s range, right? Again, this could go up 10,000. It could go 10,000 below, depending on which state you're in. Right? Some states don't have taxes. California has all the taxes, so we have to get paid more in order for us to make the same amount of money as other states do. And then you look at, again, QA engineer salaries. This is Canada. I don't know what the exchange rate is with Canada, but let's just assume the dollar is stronger. But 72 versus 75, I guess it works out. At least the last time I knew the dollar was stronger. I don't know what happened in the last 4 years, if we're stronger now or not. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's like, what, 10% of the difference or so.
There
So
you
it's
go. Okay.
pretty much like comparable.
All right. I'll take your word for it. So yeah, again, right, it's in the same range. And this is a QA engineer salary and not a QA analyst. Just be aware of that. But as you can see, it goes all the way from 53 to 92, right? And it is what it is. It's right there, right? 10 above, 10 below, even 20 above, 20 below, depending on exactly where you are. State-wise, Canadian taxes, I think, are even higher, if I'm not mistaken. But again, that's another conversation.
But this then is more benefits, huh?
Yeah, exactly. You can go to the hospital and not have to worry about being bankrupt. But I don't want to get to that conversation right now. QA automation. This is where you really start making big bucks, right? On average, you're making about 90K. Again, if the higher up your position is, you're again 20 to 30 above, 20 to 30 below. Actually, sorry. In automation, you're only going to be making 20 to 30 above. I don't think I've ever met an automation engineer making less than 95K, ever. So if you guys end up going in that direction, you have that capabilities or that understanding. That's where the real money is. And if you do contracts, which are not necessarily shorter term, but you can get paid like tax, basically no tax get taken out. You can bank a lot of money. Ask Azad or Dennis, they'll tell you.
We have a slide actually with the screenshots. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then we go into SDETs. I think that slide might be hidden, Dennis, because I remember looking at it last night. But we'll get to it. SDETs are the next tier up. This is the final year. This is the final boss. This is the Bowser of QA, and they make all the money. So you can ask Azad and Dennis about this. They know all about this position. These guys are the top of the pops. But this is where if your goal is to be at the top tier of QA eventually, SDETs are where you're at. Then you go senior SDET, principal, and all that stuff. That's a whole other ball game, management and whatnot. But as far as technical is concerned, SDET is the beginning of that. So again, SDET stands for software developer engineer in test. All right. So development or developer?
Developer. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what SDET stands for.
Development engineer. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So for the first 4 years of my QA career, I didn't know what SDET was. I thought it was software developer engineer testing or something like that, but I eventually figured it out. All right, QA top salaries. If you can see here, like I mentioned, right, the principal SDET, I think you were at Cornerstone On Demand, right?
Yeah, that was my position actually at that particular company. So you can see the highest 196 over there. So I was making a little bit over actually.
All right.
No, seriously, when they say 135 for his debt, I don't even think about. I mean, it's
there's no way you're
not even funny.
Exactly. There's no way at an SDET level. There's no point. You can literally work anywhere in the world for basically whatever money you want. That was a humble brag, yes. But if you can see the QA top salaries here, right? Cornerstone On Demand. That's one of the first companies I interviewed with when I first started QA. Was Cornerstone On Demand. They were nice. They were nice people, but I didn't get the job. Boo. But Microsoft, Gilead, PowerWave, Disney, Hulu, Marvel Semiconductor. This is Marvel Semiconductor, not Marvel Disney Marvel. So there's no Spider-Man here, right? But again, these guys are the ones that are paying the highest top salary
in Los Angeles.
In LA, I'm sorry, yeah.
In LA, it's very, I would say, mediocre city when it comes to compensation. So yeah, this is the slide like where the top of the top.
Yeah, look at that. And where is Netflix HQ?
In Silicon Valley.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we know people who makes 350 working as a senior as that at Netflix. 350. It's President of United States makes I believe
250.
400
No, he makes 250
like that. So they make pretty much the same money, which is 1% of the top earners in United States. Could you imagine?
It's wild. But again, it goes on to say, right, the sky is the limit, right? This is not a pie in the sky kind of dream trying to show you guys, that this, you can do this. It's possible. It's out there, right? But there's a joke, right? A guy asks, there's a guy who owns a train, asks someone to come fix it. The guy comes in, looks at the engine, doesn't work, and he hits it with a hammer, and the engine starts working. The guy turns around, gives him a bill, and the bill says $50,000. And the guy says, 50,000? All you did was to hit it with a hammer. And the guy says, yeah, I did, but the hitting with the hammer was $50. The other 49,000 is for knowing where to hit it. And that's what we're showing you, where to get this, right? Because if you didn't know about QA, you wouldn't know about any of this. So this is the $49,950 question right here. This is what we're trying to show you. Yeah, exactly. This guy. So here is our program. This is what we kind of get you through, right? We're level 1 again. You're kind of getting the intro. That's our course is between level 1 and level 2, right? Is to get you prepared up to a QA engineer level. Again, QA analyst is a little bit more on the beginner scale and the more entry level scale. QA is a little bit more experienced. Again, we're going to teach you guys as far as the material is concerned, all the way up to level 2, and then introduction to QA automation. So you get an intro to level 3, right? You kind of see what it takes to really get into that. There's introductory courses. You do, database testing. There's a database session as well, APIs. We give you a completely rounded kind of introduction into everything, so you know what it takes, what it requires for you to get to level 3. Because then, if you want to, you can continue in your education, and basically within a space of less than a year, you can go from level 1 to level 4. And once you're at 4, then you can write your own ticket. But I am at a level, I'd say probably 2.5. I'm probably like a 2.8. But I wanted to stay there, right? So it's like, if I just put in a little bit more effort and wasn't so lazy, I'd be at level 6 right now if I wanted to. But I like where I'm at. These guys are at level 4.9, 5.6, whatever it could be, right? But again, these guys are much more senior in that regards, on the technical side, whereas I'm a little bit more senior on the experience side, right? So that's why the whole thing about education and degrees and stuff really means diddly, because you could, have zero, I like myself have no college experience, but still have real life work experience. And that's what you use as your main cudgel, your main tool, to kind of be successful. So again, the course itself is a basic 9-week course. The courses themselves are online and they're live. There's no video being played. You can ask questions. You can talk to me directly. I am usually the one giving the introductory few sessions. So if you guys think I'm annoying, the first few sessions are going to be really terrible for you. But again, I'm always asking, answering questions and stuff like these guys have been responding to you guys as well. We use real tools and techniques, right? We work with Jira and all that stuff. We'll give you a list of everything. There's a tech company like environment, right? You do stand-ups, you do your sprint planning kind of situation, or your sprint related activities, all the ceremonies and stuff. You do theory and you practice with real projects, right? So these are live projects. Sometimes we're in their QA, we're in their testing environment. Sometimes we're in their live environment. There's a lot of meetups and community support. You get assigned a team that you're a part of. You get a team lead who's actually gone through the course, etc., and will be able to guide you, answer questions. There's our coordinators and everybody. First 3 classes are free, right? So you can get a real proper introduction. It's not just like we're going to give you a little taste and then we're going to say, okay, now you got to pay up. We'll give you first 3 sessions so you know exactly what you're getting into, or when you get in the course. A couple of questions. every single class is recorded and you get a YouTube link for it after the class is done, like immediately within 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? So you can go back and review those classes. If you missed something, you missed the class, or you didn't understand something, you get a chance to go back and review. Um, Again, going back to another question, about coding proficiency, 0. For this course, you don't need any coding proficiency. There's no coding involved. There will be eventually, right? But that's not what the course is around. It's not about doing automation development, right? It's not about writing code for automation and stuff like that. It's about finding out introducing yourself to the QA space and environment and how to go from there. What's our curriculum look like? Obviously, as you guys can see here, we're going to talk about the SDLC and the STLC, which is the software development lifecycle and the software testing lifecycle. We're going to teach you about test documentation, how to write test cases, create test plans or examples. We're going to show you, like me personally, I've shown, a 30-page document of what a test plan looks like, old school anyways. We do mind maps. There are defects that you are shown how to write, create in Jira, look at wiki pages in Confluence and stuff like that. Again, if a lot of this sounds like, a different language to you right now, it probably will, because you guys have no idea what most of this stuff is, right? Which is why you're in this course. But again, we're going to talk to you about the different types of testing. And how do you do them on a real project? What your approach should be, how you tackle it. You need to learn about modern app architecture, layers, CDN, cache, HTTP protocols, web apps, all the underlying code, basically the HTML, CSS, the dev tools that we use to kind of, take a look at.
Yeah, the basics, because those tools and technologies are very, very complicated. There is a lot of people like system architects, like super crazy mad programmers that do that. So we're not competing with them, of course. We need to know a little bit to do the job, but nothing else.
Right. Again, you guys have to understand, right? This is not a coding bootcamp, right? There's plenty of those on Udemy and YouTube and all that stuff. LinkedIn Learning, all that. That's completely a different spectrum than where we're at. So again, we'll excuse me, talk about testing mobile apps, the actual build process, CI/CD, version control, all that stuff, different environments. We'll show you how to work with databases and do basic data validation on applications, API testing, automation. Again, those are the intro classes to kind of show you what automation is really about, and if you're interested in to take it from there. Writing your smoke testing and your regression testing suites. Again, these are different kinds of setups of what kind of testing you're going to be running. And then also you guys will be automating a smoke suite for a real project. And finally, and most importantly, the interview prep, resume prep, the mock interview process is the key to getting a job. Me personally, I do that as well with a lot of different students. At this point, I think I've done it with like maybe probably 100 students. So it's that is I mean, me personally, right? Again, like I mentioned, my experience in interviewing and all that stuff is how we can help you figure out getting a job, right? What does it take? How to prep your resume and how to prepare yourself for the interview questions. Again, these are testimonials from ex-students. You guys will not find a single negative piece of information here. Otherwise, why would we show it? But again, most students, like you guys can see here, there's dozens of students here with all kinds of thank yous and all that fun stuff. You do get a good sense of community when you do have your groups and stuff. You guys are working with them daily. Everybody's working together. And that's really a good understanding of how the system works, right? So you're never at a loss where you don't know what you're doing and you can't ask a question and somebody will be able to get back to you, right? There's no being lost in the wilderness here. You know, it's all about communication with your team, with us at Test Pro, all that stuff. It's all there, right? So that's again, that sense of community is really kind of to get you understood on what it is that, you know, you're going to see when you're out in the working world. And again, we have you know, teachers, the teachers are answering questions a lot of times. I personally don't answer very many questions, but Azad, Dennis, Marina, all these guys are always on the Slack channels and responding to the questions, you know, tech IT help and all that stuff. We have a person that fixes any issues and all that good stuff. But that's, you know, that's just kind of goes to show you the type of what a company place we are, I guess, community. And don't just take our word for it. Ask Ryan Reynolds here. Okay, one side note before we move forward, I hate Ryan Reynolds. All right. Okay, we can keep moving.
I think you're the only one person who hates him.
Yeah, everybody loves the guy, and I freaking despise him.
So he tried to apply for Test Pro Bootcamp, and we declined him. But I believe we have Wesley here today with us, right?
I'm gonna unmute him.
Hey, Wesley.
Hi there. Let me go ahead and put on my video as well. Good morning.
Good morning, Wesley. Nice to see you.
It's great to see you as well. Thank you for inviting me and to talk a little bit about my experience.
Sure. Nadir, could you please stop sharing if you don't mind, so we can see like Wesley as well, if you don't mind. Okay, thank you. Okay, Wesley, can you please like give us a little bit background of yourself? Like what did you do? How did you, like, why you decide to become a software tester, and how did you know about Test Pro Bootcamp?
Sure. So I actually had been kind of on the sales and marketing side of things. I did a lot of phone sales and basically just kind of boiler room type of, you know, I'm the guy that calls you at late in the evening and bothers you to try and buy a some weird widget or product. And so, and then, you know, I did quite a few other sort of odd jobs just to make money and pay rent. And I had a friend that was involved in the boot camp, and she had said, you know, you're a really smart guy. You have a college degree, but I don't think you utilize your intelligence or your capability, what you're trying to do with your life in a way that's going to be something you can continue to do for your whole life and be able to save up some money. And so she had basically said, you know, you should really try this boot camp, try to upskill a little bit and figure out that, you know, there's other aspects to the economy and IT and things aside from being a developer that you could get your hands on. So I went through the boot camp, and really it was probably, and really not to just say this, I want to be very clear that it was probably one of the best experiences in terms of a professional upskilling that you could possibly have. The reason why is that essentially you have people like yourself, Azat and Dennis, Nadir, that have had hands-on experience in what you're gonna essentially be tasked with in your projects. So when you have that type of experience, you have the tool sets, the framework, but then you also have the methodologies that are in place. For example, my current role that I've been hired to perform is within that same setting as we had during Test Pro, which was Scrum. So that agile sort of aspect, and that's, you know, what's really interesting with my company is they're not just having that within the SDLC process or the development process. They're actually incorporating it throughout the entire company, because what they have found within this sort of Scrum format, you're essentially able to have a wide range. It's very effective in getting projects sort of to like through production and then ultimately to their release. So I mean, just what I've been able to learn really was the on the technical side was what I was able to essentially acquire this job.
Nice. And I remember you had like many job offers, right? Was it like 3 or 4?
I had up to 4. Yeah, I had 4 job offers that I was directly sort of thinking about, and mind you, I probably had up to 8 or 9, I would say 8 final interviews before I even received a job offer, even the first one. And I think to Nadir's point, I want to say that, the more you expose yourself to the interview process, the greater chance that you're going to have in acquiring that job that you want. And that was very much my case, is that I failed so many times with companies like Blizzard, which would have been my dream, and it really, even with Amazon, I got to the final interview and just completely failed it, but I took that moment for myself to realize and reflect on it and think, okay, how can I improve? What can I do better? And and I started thinking about how they're formatting their questions. And that's what eventually led to my success in all of these interviews. And so, I did, Azad, I was wondering if I could also give some tips on to the class on why I was successful.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So essentially, aside from the technical aspect that's provided by Test Pro, I want people to be extremely mindful, and the students to be mindful about how effective you collaborate in groups, your communication skills, and your knowledge of business systems. So essentially, what's important is when you're in these interviews, they have offshore and nearshore resources readily accessible to them. They can access it within a very short time, get people on these 3-month or 6-month contracts and fulfill that job requirement. So when you go into the interview process, what makes you different, not just on the technical aspect, but in terms of how you communicate, how you get along with people? I actually had my director, once I was physically on the job, he said to me, he goes, you know what, we didn't just hire you because of your technical acumen or your ability. We hired you because of your personality as well. Because we knew that when you were interacting with people, that you're going to feel what they feel, understand them, and be able to talk it through. And even though that, for example, some of the students are a little bit scared or timid about their language skills, that's here nor there. It's not relevant. What they want to see is that you're a good person, that you're honest, that you're direct, and that you can really help the company and your Scrum team or your pod, the people that you're directly communicating with. And so that's a really important aspect to keep in mind when you're doing these interviews, is that, we can do as many regression tests as we want, manual tests, automation frameworks. We can do sanity, smoke testing, report all types of, these sort of fancy quality assurance type of systems. But really what it boils down to is how knowledgeable are you about the business and how you can add value. And so that's what I've learned really a lot through this interview process, is because they can easily go to India or South America. For example, my direct team that I handle is from Buenos Aires. So, that's kind of alluding to what Dennis said earlier, is that, in Argentina, they have a huge quality assurance group Mexico City, they have that as well. So you're getting a lot of that within the QA field. So you have to set yourself apart, and by doing those intangible kind of things, that you're a great communicator, that you understand what business means, why we do quality assurance. It isn't just that you're in this ad hoc environment, you're sort of just monkeying around on a keyboard and just typing all day. That's not what we're doing. So, and what we're trying to do is really focus on what type of value do you add to the QA process, and essentially when you are in this interview, you have to go, well, I know that if we get a bad review or the load up process on our application or our website, if it takes too long, the average person that leaves a website or an app, if it doesn't boot up within 4 seconds, they will leave. So, and that's physical data that they've recovered. So essentially, when you're doing these interviews, you have to talk about that. You have to talk about that. I improve the development process so that we can hold our customers, and that we can make sure that they are, that anything that they're clicking on or involved with, that it's the velocity or the speed is really fast, along with the quality is really good.
Yeah, I agree with it. It's mostly about the culture fit when you go to the interviews and your technical knowledge. And yeah, there was actually a question, Wesley. Did you have any technical background or maybe computer science degree prior to this course?
So I actually had a bit of exposure to development. I went to UC Irvine, which is a very technical sort of oriented school. I have my bachelor's degree there. And so I was, I dealt heavily in statistics, and I've always been a numbers person. So for me, it was a fairly natural fit in terms of what I was learning. But I mean, as far as exposure to it, it wasn't until shortly before or at the boot camp that I was able to really get my hands on what the QA process was.
I see. But did you know any programming languages, or have you had any coding experience?
Not to the extent that was needed to get hired. No, I mean, I touched up on it a little bit, but nothing to where the level that is needed to acquire a job. And it wasn't until Test Pro, the boot camp, just the learning process was where I became most successful. Just started learning a lot.
Okay, and there's a question. Do you regret to become a QA engineer? Have you had okay, why I did that? I don't like the job. It's not what I was thought it's gonna be, or something like that.
Quite the opposite. I think for me, it was a passion that I didn't even know about. And I want to make that pretty clear to people as well, that, when you have this sense of teamwork, that you're executing projects in a proper timeline, and you're really helping out the company and the users, I think it's very satisfying. It's a very fulfilling work. I don't regret it at all.
Cool. Okay, Wesley, any last words for the students, for people? Because currently today we have people who are thinking to become a QA engineers, right? And maybe they're not 100% sure, do they want to become a QA, or should they start to learn in a Test Pro? What you can tell to them?
I want to say this: had I not gone through the boot camp, I never would have been working with what I wanted to do. And that's real. I make a very good salary now. I don't want to be specifics on salary, but I'm incredibly comfortable now in terms of what I make. It's changed my life. But in saying that, let's see, why did I choose this school? I chose this school because people understand why QA is actually important in the process, and they give you the tool sets that you're going to need to be successful. Every single product or every single software that we used within the boot camp, I've been exposed to in my job, whether it was Jira or Postman, or I mean, really on down the line, every tool within my toolbox has been used already within the first few weeks of my working. And so if you're a student and you're trying to think to yourself, like, why should I even do this? I wouldn't be working right now. I would just be probably, like many of the other people during the pandemic, and really struggling. And so if now, in saying that as well, you have to take it seriously. I showed up to every Scrum meeting. I showed up to every single class, regardless of my schedule. I always made time to fit it in because I knew that it was really important. So I think, as a student, you really get what you put into it. But if someone is serious about actually getting a job, and I've even given referrals because I'm in a senior management capacity. I have referral authority. And so if I ever see someone that has that drive and that ability to really want to get a job and do it really well, I have that ability now. So it's given me things that I never really thought were actually possible for me in the IT field.
Cool. Okay, thank you so much, Wesley. I hope your story will motivate others as well, and they will find they will become a QA as well. And congratulations on your offers. I'm glad you like to work as a QA engineer, and I hope your next gigs will be like on a Blizzard, Amazon, or whenever like you would like.
Well, I'll tell you, my position is within financial technology and accounting, and it's really great. It's fantastic work. So
Wesley got hired during pandemic, and we don't have his picture on the slides.
Take a screenshot.
It's probably a good thing. I'm a little rough today. I've had a long week. The hours were pretty long last week. A lot of projects that we're trying to push through before Christmas time. So, but yeah, everything has been really positive, really great. And I encourage everyone, if they're right on the fence, that they put themselves out there and really, really try this boot camp. It really turned my whole perspective around.
Thank you so much, Wesley.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, Nadir, so should we continue?
Sure thing. All right. Just a quick check. You guys can see the presentation, right? Cool. All right. So what's back to the schedule, right? Back to the course actually. What does our schedule really look like? We meet 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Class sessions are usually an hour and a half. They're just long enough to get a lot of information across, and also not long enough to where you're falling asleep. So it's the beautiful right in the middle sweet spot. Again, sorry, I forgot. Tuesday, Thursdays, and then Saturdays are the morning classes. So just be aware to not be too hungover on Saturdays. What tools do we use? We work in Jira. Jira is, again, probably anywhere between 80 and 90, maybe even more, actually probably mid 90%, 95% of the industry uses Jira for all their data or data warehouse stuff, test cases, defects, documentation, user stories, all their requirements and everything. We use Confluence as well as as part of Jira, or one aspect of it, where you do, create your wiki pages. All the information regarding the application is available there. Zephyr is a plugin for test cases within Jira. We use Slack to communicate within our teams, and we're using Zoom right now as we speak. None of these have to be downloaded per se. They're all available. They're all web apps, right? So you can just log on to them through a URL and stuff. And you need to get access. And once we get into the class itself, obviously you will be given access in order for you to get to it, right? Credentials and all that stuff. What tools are we going to use? Again, Apple Xcode and Android Studio for mobile testing, Charles Proxy. We use Browser Stack for mobile testing in different devices, and Postman for API testing. I can tell you from personal experience, Browser Stack I use right now in my current company to test different mobile devices. It's very handy, and if you can learn it, it'll come in very handy for you. All right. Again, and I use Postman basically on a daily basis to do API testing as well, right? All these tools very, very relevant to what it's like in the industry, in the real world. Projects. Again, these are real projects that are that are being developed as we test them. There's one called Cole, which is a music streaming service. It's a web application. We have the Humans interaction platform, and the Wire messaging app, which is an Android iOS application, right? So it's not a web application. The other two, a web application and mobile application means that you can get to it from a browser, and the other one you have to have a mobile device for. 10 a.m. on Saturdays, yes, 10 to 11:30. If that is going to be quite a challenge, I recommend you get a strong coffee because it usually is a challenge for me as well. I'm not a morning person. So, question of the day: what do testers do? What exactly are we? What are we doing here? Right? What do we do all day long? This is literally what we do. This is me in my office usually, sitting there smashing stuff. What we are trying to do is we're trying to break the system, right? We're trying to make sure that not only is the system handling everything correctly, but it is also set up to handle, the incorrect stuff, the stuff that it's not created for, right? The process of verifying, and I'm going to read this, then I'll give you an explanation of the definition of what this means. The process of verifying and validating that a software is bug-free, meets all requirements with handling all the exceptions and boundary cases, right? So what's validation and verification? Validation is, are we building the right product? And verification means, are we building the product correctly, right? So are we building the correct product, or are we building it correctly? Right? One is related to the way that it's what the requirements are asking for, and then also what are we doing with those requirements, right? Like I had mentioned previously, we get told exactly what it is that somebody is looking for in a product, and then we deliver it and we test it. That's our job, right? So that's what we do in regards to that. So our job is to kind of take those requirements, take that information, and test and make sure that whatever was developed by the developers, they met the they met the requirements that were put in front of them, right? What are the major testing activities, right? There's bug hunting, right? Ad hoc against requirements, where you're just kind of in there and just, just clicking around, checking out the product, doing exploratory stuff, just looking through the application, trying to find some stuff, whatever, something that might be broken, clicking all the links, pressing all the buttons, entering all the crazy data into, input fields and stuff, trying to search for crazy nonsense. I mean, really just kind of getting wild, right? What I like to compare that to is to a 6-year-old using an application. If you tell a 6-year-old to go open up Amazon and start doing something, do you think the 6-year-old is going to click search, enter information, click on the product button? No, the 6-year-old is going to go all over the place, everywhere, click backwards and go forwards and all that stuff. That's kind of the approach you mentally need to take in that instance, right in the beginning. Bug reporting, where any kind of issues that you find, you file what's called a bug or a defect on it. We're going to get into the definition a little bit later. Prioritization. Again, the business prioritize, other people basically prioritize what gets fixed and when, right? Our job is only to bring up the issue. I love saying this is because it's the right thing. Is our main function is to bring up the issue so that everybody's aware and somebody else gets to make the decision on it, right? We don't have that stress on our shoulders. My go-to line is like, hey man, look, do what you want with it. I just wanted to let you know it's out there, right? And that's kind of the role that we play. Again, we write test cases based on those requirements, like I mentioned, writing, executing, reporting on the results, and then again, story testing based off of the requirements. That's how we're actually creating the test cases in that regards, right? Those are all the major activities that are involved in testing. Now, again, if you guys feel like you're getting information through a water hose right now, you are. Okay, so you're not gonna get everything right now, and we're not. It's not gonna be all in detail, right? Try to understand as much as you can. Just be aware that everything is taken into more detail and depth the further you get in the course, even within the next 2 sessions, right? You're not gonna understand everything today, but that's kind of it's just to be able to kind of get in an initial kind of open your eyes, like take the red pill kind of thing, right? You like when now you know what QA really is out there. That's hey, that's a selfie of me. But also again, that's what's a bug, right? Like I was talking about. Anytime there is an issue or a flaw in a computer program that causes to produce an incorrect or unexpected result, it's called a defect. It's called a defect. It's called a bug. Again, anytime anything is wrong, it's called a bug, right? So let's say it's telling you to click on a button, and if you click on a button, a new browser window will open. Now, if you click on that button and your browser window shuts down, that's a bug, right? Because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Very, very simple, very basic. But anytime you see any kind of deviation from what is supposed to, from expected behavior, automatically a bug. Now, the beauty of, again, for what we do is that our job is just to be like, hey, look, this is what you said it's supposed to do. This is what it's doing. It's not, one is not equaling one, right? So what do you want to do? We don't have to make that decision. They have to make that decision. Our job is like, hey, look, boom, this is what it's doing. Please make the call. What kind of bugs are there? A lot of different types of bugs. As you guys can see here, different percentages. Functionality bugs are the highest, most common and most important ones. All the other ones, we'll get into it on subsequent slides, but the design bugs, compatibility bugs. God, I'm going to tell you guys a story when we get to the browser stuff. It makes me go crazy, but I'll give you some details on my current project. But yeah, bug types are different types, and they're organized, and you kind of have an idea, and that's how you kind of test your approach your testing, right? These are UI related, like this is when you're testing the UI, right? The layout, the fonts, the colors, the contents, the images, everything should be as it's supposed to be. There should be consistency. Your whole application should be a model of consistency, no matter what it is. Anytime you go on a web page, right? Anytime you go to Amazon, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, anything, it all looks the same throughout the application. That's not by accident, right? That's by design. You don't know how many times bugs have been filed because buttons were different colors, or the functionality from on one page is different compared to another page. So that's all by design. There's a reason why everything looks exactly the same on all these different applications, right? So again, going into more detail, what's a layout bug? These are design bugs. They're about misalignment of text, right? Sometimes things are not like cascading properly. There's like indents. The text is a little bit to the left, a little bit off to the right. I have been in my current position. I'm working on a project, and I've been feeling very motivated. So I've been filing bugs on things that are off 1 pixel. And honestly, it bugs them, but they know that I'm right, because it just that 1 pixel, it looks really weird, and I don't know. I'm big on UX, right? So it's a big thing to me. But again, double margin floats, staircase effect, IE box 6 box model bug, misbehaving layouts, and so on and so forth. Oh God, I hate IE so much. Sorry. I just had a little frustration come out right there. Overlapping, right? There's a lot of times when text kind of overlaps over each other. Missing images. Anytime you see a box with a red X on it, that's a QA failure, because they didn't obviously test it properly. Spacing, right? The width between lines and difference like that. Uh, all that good stuff, right? Unwanted space between vertical spacing, all that stuff. Again, we have to make sure everything looks consistent. It looks correct. Different fonts, right? You're using Helvetica Light versus regular, different font families, mismatching font sizes. It makes a difference, right? How it looks, how the customer is or the client feels when they look at it, when they use it. It's very important. Colors are very important, right? Color mismatches, button color mismatches. Those are also important because of the UX. How it looks and feels is very important, right? It's I mean, we live in LA, so it's everything is all about how things look, right? So I don't know how you guys, but that's how the applications work, right? It's all about the look and feel of things. Um, the underlying functionality, the underlying kind of like the engine underneath the car, in the car, it doesn't necessarily mean anything to the user. The user wants it quick, the user wants it correct, and the user wants it to look and feel good and look and feel the same across the board, right? That's the main concern in the beginning. Content, right? Upper cases, the casing of the alphabets, mismatches, spelling mistakes, all that stuff. Again, these are low severity issues, right? They're not going to cause you a crash or something like that on your application, but what it does do is make your application look unprofessional, right? You have to pay attention to make sure that all these things might seem like small to you guys, but these are literally what we do in a QA fashion, right? We are looking for not only just content related bugs, but also functionality bugs. The more deeper you get into the course, you realize, how deep we really go. It's not just all surface level, easy spelling mistakes or colors and all that stuff, right? UI bug example. You see this little overlap here? This would be a defect, right? And I remember I have the Chase app and I used to do this, and I say it every time we do this presentation. Bugs the hell out of me. But that's just me with my QA hat on, right? And also my user hat on. But this would be a bug that you would file as a QA engineer, right? That's honestly might not seem like a big deal, but that's huge, because it makes Chase, which is probably top 20 biggest companies in the world, look like they are just a startup somewhere. Not cool. Functional testing, right? So I'm gonna kind of walk you through the different types of testing there is where you find these different um, defects from, right? So this functional testing is against or based off of requirements and specifications. System should be functioning as it is supposed to be, right? You get the requirements, you tell you how the behavior is supposed to be, and then you kind of make sure that it matches. How we do that is we write test cases, right? Basically a formalized document that shows you step by step exactly what you're doing, what steps you're following in order for you to validate or verify. I'm sorry, not verify, not validate. Verify um, um, the requirements, right? Black box testing. Again, black box testing is you don't know what's in there. You don't know how the sausage is really made, right? All you're concerned about is what you're putting into the grinder and the actual sausage that's coming out. You're not concerned with how the meat gets ground up and put in the casing, right? So it's like basically test driving a car, right? Without having to look at the engine. All you're supposed to do is you get in the car, you turn the key in the ignition, turns on, you drive around, and that's all you care about. You're not concerned with um how the engine works, what internal combustion is, and all that stuff, right? You're only looking at it from outside of the box. You can't look into a box that's black, right? So we're not looking at the code. There's nothing to do with any of the technical stuff. All you're doing is you are opening up a website / web application, and you are making sure that it works as it's supposed to. All right. Again, you're putting in the input, the system itself is doing what it's supposed to do, and then you look at the output, which is the response, and then it should match what requirements you have or what you think is supposed to be happening. Hey, my favorite wrestler when I was a kid, the Heartbreak Kid. You press a button and the whatchamacallit, the limo explodes. That's what it is. You just press a button and some action occurs, right? That's kind of what black box testing is. Unfortunately, we don't deal a lot with explosives. It'd be cool if we did. Your test environment would be interesting. But that's kind of how it goes. You press a button and you see the response. You don't know what's happening in the background, and you don't really necessarily care. Now, there's a defect here. You guys can kind of do it on your own time real quick. Just go to latimes.com. You go on the bottom of the page. You click on terms of service. And you click on this little link. And you will be taken to a connection not private issue. No, the URL is not found. That's basically what a bug looks like. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time sitting here on that because we want to get through this, but that'll give you a live, bug that you can see yourself. Excuse me. Yep, I never liked this slide, but that's a bug. I'm not a big fan of. I don't like bugs. And this next one is even worse. Oh no, not this one. Sorry, this is Dennis's bug. There's another slide that I don't like either. Go ahead, Dennis.
I replaced that actually, but yeah.
I was there last night.
So I was shopping around for a car battery another day and figured then if I purchase a battery from Home Depot, from the store itself, they actually charge core fee, which is like $20 or so, which is mandatory for 30 out of 50 states, including California. But if I buy the same battery online and pick it up from the same exact store, they actually don't have that. And basically I check, I thought maybe it's like some special case or something. So I Google actually for that core fee, what is that and all that. And I check the other competitors like O'Reilly Auto Parts, for example, that you can see on the right. Everyone has that except for Home Depot online order. So basically, since I'm a good tester, I ordered online and had 2 batteries with 2 receipts in my cart at the same store, and then I just returned the most expensive one. That's it. So this is how we can save some money by utilizing QA techniques.
Thanks, Dennis. But yeah, again, so you're not only are you making money, but you can be saving money doing QA too. So again, compatibility. Another example is compatibility against different types of devices, different hardware, different operating systems, softwares, networks, browsers, devices, mobile versions, all that fun stuff, right? You can kind of you're making sure your application is accessible through as wide and as detailed different kind of versions of systems out there, applications. Software, browsers, or devices basically can access it as possible. The more it is, the better, right? And that's what kind of our job really is, to make sure that we are covering all those bases. Compatibility. Okay, so as I was mentioning earlier, right? IE 11. If I ever meet IE 11 in person, I'm gonna punch it in the face. All right, because I've been working on my project for like the last 9 months. The CEO of the company had not looked. The CEO of the company that's kind of we're contracted with, right? Never looked at the application, and we are not supporting IE 11 at all. And wouldn't you know it, the first time he ever looked at the application, he opened it up in IE 11, and the whole thing was just. I mean, it would look like trash. It was so bad. But that's the thing, was like, that's kind of my own fault, because I didn't believe that in 2020 somebody would be using IE, right? So that's my bad, right? I should have known better. Yeah, exactly. Who the heck uses IE 11 still? Like, come on, bro. There's Edge. There's so many different browsers. Oh my, just use Opera. I don't care. But why IE 11? And the first time you ever saw the application, it was the first time, right? First impression was very, very terrible. But luckily he was using his phone as well, so it worked out. We're good. I still have a job. But the point is, IE and Safari are the craziest ones. The way they behave with products is completely different. The more latest tech that you use as far as your web application is concerned, the more out of date IE becomes, right? So IE is deprecated at this point. People start using Edge and other different browsers, but um, that's the reality. Again, that's our job, right? That's a failure on my part, to be quite honest. I screwed that one up. I should have, even though we're not supporting it, I should have just looked at it just to be like, hey, make sure you tell people you can't use IE 11.
Well, that's the thing, because when it comes to corporate world, most of those companies, they actually use IE even these days. So I work for one of those companies, and almost 30% of our users use IE 11. We have to support that. We have to, otherwise we will lose like a ridiculous number of companies, of clients. So you should always be mindful of what who are your customers and how they actually use that. So that's why it's very important. But yeah, there was a comment in a chat saying like they tried to use Safari for Udemy and it didn't work well, so they were prompted to actually use Chrome. Yeah, I mean, it happens.
That's how that goes, right? It's if somebody like Udemy is not going to support Safari, just imagine. Safari is iPhone devices are the most used devices on the planet, not iPhone devices, but Apple devices, if you can imagine that, right? So
yeah, that's a hint. If you want to find a lot of bugs, try IE and Safari. They usually have like way more defects.
Yep. So another type of testing that we do is called localization testing, right? Every single country is unique. Every continent is unique, right? So we make sure that each application is prepared to deal with any kind of localization issues, culture related, language related, currency related, and so on and so forth. So, for example, here, if you look at all, at this is what is this one again? I forget the name of this.
That was the old project that we used to.
Yeah, what was the name of the project?
Deans.
Deans. Yeah, it had a language drop down where you can select different languages. And if you selected anything other than English, it would just show you English, right? That would be a localization issue, right? Where
it's partially translated though, so you can see the right tile. It's actually
there you go. But like the currencies, the currency thing is massive when you're trying to have an e-commerce website. People that are doing internationally trying to make a purchase on your site are gonna not see the right values. Date time format. The European countries do date before month. Weirdos. And we do it month before date. America #1. But we do it the right way. They do it the whatever way they do it, right? So, but that's localization, right? They need to be able to. You have to see, and it's easily confusable, and that might lead to problems down the line. Performance testing is related to determining the speed and responsiveness of any device or product under a workload, right? You try to get, like, for example, performance testing, you try to hit a website with 100 200,000 people. If you remember this poor soul, Kylie Jenner, she couldn't sell hundreds of millions of her Kylie lip kit because the website went
one
down.
of the poorest females in the world, in fact.
There's a whole story about, they lied about her net worth, but then again, I don't want to talk about all that. But yeah, she had this, a launch on her website. They didn't do any performance testing, right? And the site went down because 200,000 users were there immediately as soon as she opened up the site, basically, as soon as she started sales. And site crashed, no sales, you lose the money, you lose out on revenue. So she was only able to make $20 million instead of 40. So
in an hour.
yeah. Oh my God, might as well be homeless. But that's how it goes, right? You have to do this. Again, what we do has a direct effect on how the company does business, right? If we don't test it thoroughly enough and the site goes down, like in this case, your company does lose out on revenue. So don't just think that you're sitting there just looking at colors or buttons or reading text. Your work has a direct effect on the amount of money your company makes. Like Wesley was saying earlier, right? If your site, for example, doesn't load within 4 seconds on average, not only will the customer leave your website, they'll go and they'll make their purchase on a different application or a different website, right? They'll use a different customer altogether. I'm sorry, different company altogether. So everything we do has a direct effect on revenue, right? Usability is huge, right? Usability again goes back to this is like um the look and feel of things, like how when you are using an application, does it make sense? Like in Instagram, when you're scrolling down right on your feed, it makes sense that if you scroll down you can see the next thing, right? Whereas in other places you have to do some weird stuff to kind of slide back and through and all that stuff, right? So the UX is very important. I'm a big UX guy. I really kind of enjoy working on that aspect of it. The UX stands for user experience. So just kind of you're aware of that. Usability, again, for example, if the UX is not correct, then you can see that if you're not able to see that you're about to hit a very sensitive button, right? For example, like this was a missile threat that went out in Hawaii. This is real, by the way. This actually happened. And the funny thing was, yeah, it even says in the thing, this is not a drill. So while it was, it was a false alarm. Imagine sitting in Hawaii, an island in the middle of nowhere, and you've just been told that there's a missile heading your way. What are you gonna do? So that's kind of an issue. That was a software problem, that again, a usability bug that somebody screwed up. But this legitimately happened. So just so you guys are aware, stuff like this can happen. Security testing. Yes, you can be Neo if you want to. But again, it's just determining the safety and reliability of your application. How safe are you, your data, your customers' data, all that stuff. That's kind of the main function here. A lot of these, just so you guys are aware, are specialities, right? And I'll get to that in a little bit. But for example, this little boy found a bug in FaceTime in 2019, and he got paid $200,000, right? So from Apple, and these big companies that have like an army of testers, they will give out bounties for people that find bugs that their teams couldn't find. So if you ever feel like, what, maybe I want to win the lottery, find a bug in an iPhone or something. They'll give you some money.
Yeah, because it's a massive screw up.
Yeah. Somebody
they have to pay money now.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, they get sued and they have to pay out millions. So again, how do you find bugs? The best way really to do it. Sometimes my head cuts down. That's because my background is funky. I don't really have a bookshelf full of 100,000 books behind me. That's a virtual background. That's why I'm cutting out. Just all right. How do you find bugs? So you know what? I'm sorry. That probably didn't make any sense to you guys. Don't worry about it. How do you find bugs? Monkey. This is me at work every single day, just sitting there pressing buttons and then holding my head, because nothing is working, right? The way you're gonna find a lot of good bugs when you're testing is just when you're kind of looking in there and clicking around and trying to find a bug, right? You're not doing any formal testing. You're just kind of looking at it from the perspective of, what, if I was a brand new user and I had no idea what my product did and I try to test it, how would it work out? Right. So this is kind of the beginning. It helps you find a lot of bugs because you're looking at it from a detached perspective. There's nothing, not to say that there's nothing worse, but once you start testing a product, you know how to make it work. And then you kind of, you don't look at it from the same kind of critical view at some point. Because if you've been testing the same thing for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time, you're going to try to get to the part that you're trying to get to. And just like, at some point, you're just like, you know what? I've tested it enough. It's good to go. So this is helpful in that regards. You're able to kind of look at it with a fresh set of eyes. Again, it's done without any planning or documentation. It's more experimental. You're literally just monkeying around, right? Again, they're intended to be only run once. You're just clicking stuff, pressing buttons, opening and closing stuff. It's very informal. Mr. Darwin was right. Yep. And then let's say you find an issue, you take a screenshot of it, just to give you guys an idea on how to do it on different devices. On a Windows device, if you press the Windows key, a Shift and S, you can take a screenshot. A simpler way is there's a print screen button on your keyboard as well. You can just take a screenshot of all your screens, right? Mac OS, again, the command button, Shift and the number 4. Android, the power and volume down buttons, and then iOS, the power and volume up button. That gives you, and also I think you can say Siri, take a screenshot, and Siri will take a screenshot too. But yeah, that's, again, we use a lot of screenshots. I mean, I'm gonna show you guys personally that I took a screenshot a little bit ago. Actually, I can't share. Well, I don't know why I can't show that for some reason. In any case, but yeah, we use a lot of screenshots and defects and bugs. Anytime we want to explain something to someone, we use a lot of that. Time for fun. I don't know what these guys are doing, but it looks like fun.
How do you like this now, Nadir?
I'm glad you took the bug one out. The bug one, I hate that one. All right, so it's time to find a bug. Dennis, how are we looking as far as time is concerned? I think we should
you just let's just click to the next slide, and yeah, we will do a short session.
Okay.
So this is bug hunting, and basically we will apply everything that we learned so far, which is different types of defects, like what to search for, like localization, typos, images are like too small or overlapped, or like whatever is wrong with them, right? If you click something, nothing happens, or something happens that it should not happen, and which is functional type of testing and all that. And for the very first session, we're going to be utilizing ad hoc or monkey testing. So just as Nadir said, monkeying around the website. So our application for today is going to be humans.net, which is it's like a nicer version of Craigslist, if you wish. So yeah, let's just click that. Well, you cannot click, huh? So let's just navigate to that website and see what they have over there, because it's a partner website, so you can just do anything you want. But please if you post something, please do not use like bad words or any stuff like that, right? Just let's be professionals from the very first class. So yeah, just click around, see what you try to find something. And because we actually been working on this project for quite a while, I can tell you that they have hundreds, like literally hundreds of defects. And you will get to know those hundreds in a couple of weeks, because we will have a special, like the Jira-based session, how to report defects and how to search for duplicates and all that. So we will be using this site for the following weeks as well. Once you find something, what's important? Write short description. What do you think is wrong? So for example, I don't know, this thing throws me off. It just slides too fast and it's hard to follow, in my opinion. Do you feel the same, Nadir? Like it's just something funky going on. So I would probably slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, I said I agree with that one, because it's like one of those tickers. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's super duper fast.
Yeah, so in this case, it's really hard to capture screenshot. How would you basically show the bug in motion, right? So for that, we can utilize special tools that actually capture videos, but that's a very special case. I would say from the experience, it's rare when you want to capture the video, but this is one of those cases. And this is definitely UX kind of defect, right? So it's just doesn't feel right. Yeah, I'm seeing like strange comments from users. Well, users can post pretty much anything that they want to post. So it's not like the actual bug, but just because of nature. Like you can sell an elephant on the Craigslist, right? Or anything else. It's really, I mean, Craigslist has nothing to do with that, right? That's your post. But yeah, if you, for example, search for something popular, there is another one. And guys, if you found something, just capture a screenshot and let us know what you found. So just search for, I don't know, electrician or something. Something popular. The problem is we don't know what's popular because, again, it's based on supply, and we don't know what supply is, right? Only 3. So maybe something else. I can tell you that jobs search has a lot of issues. You're probably seeing one of them. So it not necessarily it will refresh the search results. So you see it kind of hanged. So that would be a bug right there. And it's not the only bug that search has. There are more. Even though it looks nice, right? It doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's a bug free.
What the hell? Another one you guys can see if you just scroll. Oh shit! All right, that's cool. If you just scroll past the search field, this jobs thing kind of expands out, right, without you actually touching it or doing anything.
Yeah, you're supposed to mouse over on the button itself. So which is a bug right there. Another one, right?
Yep. See here, this pops out once you click in the city in the location field. Same thing goes here. Something should pop out once you click in the field instead of just kind of hovering over it, right? Or even hovering near it. If you were hovering over it, it would still make sense. But here, since you're just kind of going around outside, it shouldn't be doing this. Now, same thing with this. If I just scroll over it, you see the option, but if I click on it, it goes away. I know you guys can't see me clicking, but if you click on it, the menu kind of goes away, which is the reverse way of doing this, right? You should be able to click on it and open it. It shouldn't just automatically kind of show up like that.
Yeah, on the mobile layout, they say that on the homepage, those humans, those icons, they're off-center, which is, yes, definitely a bug.
I can even show you. Let's see, iPhone XR. I'll show you guys what it looks like on an iPhone. This is, again, we're not really. It's not really part of the presentation, but this is the browser stack that I use on a daily basis. So you can look at it in what it would look like in iPhone XR or iPhone 10. I don't know who knows what they're called anymore. To see what it looks like in.
Yeah, these icons you see, they are not centered. So there is home improvement. These humans down there. So it's there's a little bit of space, and the same here, but it's left positioned now.
Oh, space.
Some extra space on the right.
Yeah.
These ones kind of cut off. You see the text. Probably they could just get rid of that. So yeah, it's like a lot of bugs just on that particular page. Yeah. And if you start clicking through, and I'm seeing a lot of defects, there is a bug with maps. Yes, for sure, I know there is a bug with maps. Here, I believe if you scroll down, or if you click contacts on the left panel, there is like a bug. No, okay, not anymore. They fixed that. But it used to be if you click that, it would never really get down there. Would never. So what about if you scroll the page to the very bottom? Okay, no, it works fine. So they fix it. If you click on the blog, there is like an empty image or something.
Where is the blog?
At the very bottom.
Oh. Blog. There we go.
Yeah, you see there is like a dot in the middle of the screen. Yeah, right. Why is that thing is here? It's so much of empty space, basically. You cannot read much. It's just like empty space, and then there is this dot in the middle of the screen. So yeah, another one. There was a search. If you search for home improvement, I believe they say there is a lot of empty spaces, which is another known bug as well. But yeah, don't go too far, because once you away from humans.net, we're not testing like Google or any other application, right? We are only testing this one because Google has plenty of testers. In fact, we actually have there was a student who worked for Google as a manual tester, one student from TestPro.
Another thing, if you guys have noticed, this whole page is completely different in look and feel as compared to the other ones, right? There's no background, there's no images, the text looks different than the regular. Let me see. If we do a quick side-by-side comparison. See, and this humans, it takes you straight to the blog and not the actual page. It's just strange. See, compared to this, it looks different. The text styles feel different. Can you guys actually see my screen? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Cool. But like that, see that's the thing about consistency that I was talking about, right? This page and this page feels like two completely different products.
Yeah. Even fonts don't match.
Yeah, exactly. There's no back. This red little thing, the banner here there's no banner to be found here. All that stuff. I mean, makes a difference, right? Because it feels like you're completely off the website. That's what UX means, right? That you all of a sudden you feel like you've gone off onto a completely different kind of application. Again, you get this, you understand this more and more, that you kind of start once you're in once you're in there and you're testing. The more you test, the more you realize what you're really looking for. It's a matter of experience.
Yeah, there is another one in the search. If you search for like cable technician, it shows you table tennis training for some reason. What? Or if you search for moving or home improvements, you will get basically a lot of. If you just search for that, you will get to this results set page where you will see this empty spaces. You see like the second right here, why it's like empty. It's kind of interesting, huh? And the other one in the middle and this one on the right side, like, why is that, right? No, definitely all of those legitimate defects. And as you could see, even Apple or US government, right, or state of Hawaii, or I mean, you name it, they all have defects that are not caught by their army of QAs. Even though they like bazillion dollar company, they still have defects that leak to production, basically. So everyone in the world can see them and can. I don't know if you remember, there was a one in LADVP a few years back. They were miscalculating the bills and they got sued for that. That is ugly. So yeah, I mean, come on. So they overcharged the customers basically, and it's like millions of people living in Los Angeles. It's crazy. So yeah, I think yeah, guys, great job. You found I don't know like how to even count, but from what I'm looking, like dozens, maybe even like hundreds of defects. So you can see like there is like a whole ton of them like everywhere. And with experience, actually, whenever you go, you start noticing like bugs like everywhere. They jumping on you.
Eventually, you get experience enough where you can just look at an application and be like, "Yep, that's a bug. That's a bug. That's a bug," without even having to kind of formally do anything.
But the thing here is, guys, you need to remember the following. So we are not building the like 100% bug-free application. 100% of quality is not achievable, right? It's not the ideal world where we live in. The thing here is that we need to build the good enough quality, right? Good enough is not equal to like perfect. So that means that it's okay to have defects. It's not okay to have major defects, but the small defects is okay to have. And that's why like big companies like Microsoft and Apple and Google, they do have those defects, the tiny ones. They know about them. They maybe fix them, maybe, not necessarily, but nothing serious is there. So that's the job. So we can coexist with bugs, right? All right, so yeah, let's move forward. We will post a link to LMS. It's a learning management system. You can actually go there and get registered. It's app.testpro.io. So the first week is free. No matter what, you can just get registered and get access to the first free week. All the slides and the videos, the recording from this class, we will post there shortly. And this is the place where we basically have all the materials, and it's a special application. In fact, we have like videos, polls, quizzes, certificates, everything lives there. So yeah, let's go to the next slide. So homework for today. Get LMS access, just go to that website and we will send you a link. Just get registered and start going all the lessons one by one. And just complete, I believe it's like 10 or 15 of them. Everyone should take you like a couple of minutes probably. So just go one by one and complete all the way to the second class. But the last one is going to be bug hunting competition. So you can actually win $200 of credit by finding the most defects, right? So all that you need to do, again, it's in LMS. You just go one by one until you hit that particular homework. And you would just need to basically do what we did today. Just go to humans.com, search for, just click through, get registered, change password, like do everything, basically, whatever you feel. And I can tell you bugs are everywhere. So the more you get familiar yourself with the application, the more bugs you will find eventually. So just put them all in a Google Doc, just a screenshot and short description. We will count the number of the defects and we will issue $200 of credit for the person who finds the most number of defects, and I believe $150 for the second place and $100 for the third place as well. And this is just a nice kind of bonus, but once you start actually, because why it's important, finding defects is one of the most important activity for QAs, for testers, right? So the more you practice is better for you, faster you get the job. So let's move to the next one. Yeah, guys, you're looking for bugs on humans.net, not on the TestPro website. Even though we are very grateful if you find any, and we know that we do have some. That's not the competition, right? So what else? Right now we have early bird special until the next class. We will cover that in a second. You can also can win in a bug hunting competition and get some credit. You can also bring a friend and get $100 both, basically. So there is a different options on how to save money. And let's go to the next one. Okay, there was a lot of questions about how to actually enroll to the course. So we have quite a few options, in fact. So one of the most affordable option would be with the regular price of $2,400, you can enroll with the 3 payments. It's like 1 payment per month, so it's $649 per month, 3 months total, and that's the most affordable option to enroll. What you are getting, first of all, theory. It's all lives in our LMS. On top of that, all the slides. We've been working on them very hard. We've been changing them and adjusting basically on a daily basis. Like, for example, new version of iOS released, we update our slides and the curriculum and everything, so it's up to date. Live interactive sessions like virtual classes like we have right now, it's not recorded. We read your questions, we answer. So it's a live, right? It's not like Udemy or anything. Homework with the feedback. So again, in LMS, we will have a lot of activities like writing test cases, finding defects, using different tools and all that. We will give you personal feedback. Interview preparation, that one is one of the most important things. It's not enough just to learn what is QA and what's the testing and what's the bug, but it's very important to be able to sell yourself, right, on the interview, because interview basically, the good is you need to sell yourself on the interview, and just technical skills is not enough, right? So we will help you to write the resume. In fact, we start writing a resume from today. Yes, I'm not kidding. From today, you will find a task in a lesson in LMS. So we're starting writing the resume today. So in the middle of the course, you will have like 80% of your resume ready. So we push you actually to go to the job market before the graduation. On top of that, all the interview questions and answers, right? So you are prepared. We will review like the whole hiring process, like who is going to be interviewing, what's the questions are going to be for those particular parts, and how to progress. Also, Slack Test Pro community. So we have a lot of activities going on, like, for example, students who get hired. They actually share their experience. We also invite teachers to participate. So we perform mock interviews, like fake interviews, but with real QA managers. So if you perform very well, they can actually hire you. So it's like mock interview, but it's not really mock interview. It's like more like a real interview. So a lot of things like that. Real tools and techniques, as we covered. Even Jira, for example, it's a paid tool. And why are we using paid tool? Because we want to give you the best, guys. Why? Because Jira is the most popular tool in the world. So like Wesley said, he just joined the company and nothing changed really. It's exactly the same tool stack, so tool set, right? So it's like most of the students, when they get landed on a job, they say like, and is that it? And yes, exactly. That's the whole purpose. You get a job and you know it all, right? So there is no surprises. Practice on real projects. You will put those projects into your resume, because one of the most popular interview questions, in fact, are tell me about yourself and tell me about the projects that you worked on. So you have real projects in your resume, you will be able to talk about them, and basically whatever you say matches 100% with what company wants. We also have a lot of levels of support. So we have bootcamp coordinator. We have a whole group of people who will help you with any type of questions. We have all the teachers, in fact, and mentors in Slack channel as well to answer your questions. We have Alex, who is our tech support. So if you have issues with installation or access or more like on a technical side, he will help you with that. Once you've graduated, you will get your certificate of graduation, which is, again, we are here, we're a registered company in California. We have to get that certificate, actually. So we legit company, right? So you will get a certificate of graduation from legitimate company based off Los Angeles, California. Once starting from the next week, we will actually break you into like teams. So you will work with your team on a daily basis, and from the past experience, the most successful students are the ones who communicate, actually. So that one helps a lot to progress throughout the course and get the job faster. Job placement, as I mentioned, we have mock interviews, we have managers, we have some positions sometimes to fulfill. I don't know how to price that one, but how can you price your new wonderful life, for example? Like, I cannot even like price that. So I think the biggest decision in my life was when I actually decided to try QA. So to me, I mean, there is no way I'm going back. Technical support, teacher support, money back guarantee. So we, as you know, the first week is free, but we also offer 2 weeks 100% money back guarantee. If you don't like something within the first 2 weeks, we will return you 100% of the payment. Also, we offer 3 personal mentoring sessions on us. So what is that? So once you finish writing your resume, with our help, of course, you can schedule 1 mentoring session with a trained mentor. They will review your resume and will give you feedback, what's wrong, what needs to be improved, and all that. Once you do that, you can schedule another one. That one will be a mock interview. Basically, the mentor will pretend he is your hiring manager, and he or she will ask you questions like a real interview. So you get a taste of it, and they will give you a feedback. And the third one, once you get scheduled the actual on-site interview, well, on-site these days, it's irrelevant, right? There's no on-site, but they are all virtual interviews. But once you get that scheduled, you can schedule another mentoring session, and the mentor will go through the job requirements. They will dig into like company, what they do in projects and all that. So they will help you to get prepared for this particular position. You can also repeat the course. We have a few options there if you just want to listen, because we're changing the course a lot. So even with this QA 17, we changed 2 huge things. So the students who actually repeats, it's always like different experience, basically. And if you want to repeat, you can repeat as a team lead, which is like more experience kind of QA professional, right? So the focus is a little bit different. So yeah, that's all. If you sum this up, it's going to be $6,300, and that's pretty much the average price. If you go online and search for like boot camps like Coding Dojo or something like that, it's from $6,000 to $10,000. But the most affordable option right now is just $649 per month. We also have some other options. So if you click the next slide, please. We also have, you can pay all at once. It's cheaper in that case. We have split payment in 2 months. So it's a lot of options. Another one here, if you're thinking about to become a QA automation engineer from no experience, but you want to kind of jump over the manual QA and become QA automation engineer, we have that option too. So that one is $24.99 first payment, and then once you get a job, if you get a job, right? So we take that risk. So once you get a job, then you will pay 10% of your paycheck for 12 months. So if you don't get a job, no payments needed, right? So we take that risk. This one is kind of bundled, right? It includes manual QA course and the automation course. So it's like 5 months total. And for QM automation, as Nadir said, $95,000 per year. It's on the lower side. Yeah, I would say it's like strong automation engineer targets 6 figures. So my first job as a automation QA was $105,000. But that's just the beginning, even for automation folks. So yeah, that will cover Java, job search, Selenium WebDriver. We also be covering SQL and API automation. So for manual QA course, we cover SQL and API, how to test it manually. Here we will actually be doing automation. So if you already purchased any deal, whatever it is, you can upgrade for just $700 to this deal. And the automation, we only have around 20 seats for that one. So it's a very, very student-focused course. So we just don't have capacity. We cannot do more than 20 students. So it usually, it doesn't last long. So let's go to the next one. Yay. So Azat.
Yeah, guys, for those who stayed until the end, we have our promised raffle. So what I'm going to do now, you can use your phone, basically, and open the camera. And just like put your camera to this QR code, or you can just follow this link, which I'm going to send you in the chat. And you will need to fill out the form. And after all of you will fill out the form, we will do a random number generation, and we will generate a winner. A winner will get this course, QA engineer course, for free. Okay, I am sending it in the chat, sending on YouTube as well, and I will send it on a Telegram chat. Okay, just go there, fill out this form. We will give you like 5 minutes, maybe more, to fill it out, and then we will do number generation. And while you guys doing that, I think we can go to Q&A session and answer all of your questions.
Oh yeah, by the way, once we're done with this lesson, guys, if you have any questions, you can always reach out the team. So on our website, you will find this wonderful chat at the top right corner. Oh, sorry, bottom. Yeah, at the bottom right corner. You can just click on that and ask your question, and we have a whole group of people working on those. So whatever it is, we will try to help you as much as possible. We actually are working today. So if you have any questions after we finish the lesson, the class, just go ahead and enter your question there. We can also do a phone call if you want to. Again, just enter that in the chat and we will contact you shortly. So yeah, there is a question about Udemy and plenty of courses for 20 bucks. I can tell you more. You can get a lot of them for free. Even myself, I have a course on Udemy, which is completely free. So yeah, you can try this out, but it will not give you a job. That's the thing. They usually focused on a very specific area. like what is QA, right? For example, or what is automation, but they're lacking a lot of things that you need to know in order to get a job. I'm not saying there is no way you can get a job by just doing Udemy or whatever, or YouTube even, right? No, you can, definitely you can. But if that would be like 100% true, why would we have like universities, let's say, or schools, right? Why wouldn't we just go to YouTube and study everything ourselves for free? So I think bootcamp in this case, it's in the middle basically. So we kind of guarantee the job. At the same time, it doesn't cost as much as like a university, or it doesn't take you 4 years, of your life to get a job, like well-paid job. I'm not talking about like any job. We only focused on efficiency, right? Because we live our lives and time flies. We just, myself, I just don't have that much of time, unfortunately, to go to college. I think it's ineffective. But at the same time, I did a lot of Udemy courses as well. Why not? It's not a replacement, in my opinion. You can support and you can learn something over there, but it's not like exactly what we're offering here. Sorry,
hey guys,
Mike.
answering the question, you can fill this form only once. If you will do like multiple times, we will give the code for someone else. Sorry, one person per application.
Yeah, so there is another question about the jobs, like can I find a job in like XXX town or YYY state or country or whatever. Right now, at least in the United States, all the jobs are remote. So basically, and a lot of companies actually getting rid of the actual offices, like headquarters, where like Twitter, for example, or Facebook, Amazon, doing pretty much the same. So they are hiring remotely these days, so they don't care and they don't ask you to relocate once hopefully this pandemic thing is done, right? So you can just work from wherever you are. It doesn't matter. And that's why Zoom, for example, grew, I believe, 22 times since the pandemic. So the business is like going as crazy. I know Azad's company is doing very well as well. My company, we actually grew 2.5 times within the 6 months, basically. And it's a $1 billion company. In fact, it's not like small company. So some of the companies are doing not that well, like tourism related, for example, like airlines, like restaurants and all that stuff. But at the same time, some of the companies are doing like very well. So basically, in order to work for a company in the United States, just to answer, you need to have work authorization to work for a US company, and that's pretty much it. If you, yeah, oh, wow, I'm in Kenya. So again, yeah, kind of answer that question, but you can also find a job in your own country. I would say I've never seen like any place in the world where they don't have like QA or tech jobs. Pretty much, I would say, well, probably there are some countries like that, but you can just simply search for QA analyst or QA engineer in like whatever website is popular in your own country. Yeah, we will send you a link with the LMS and the recording shortly. Once we're done, it's not ready yet, but once we're done, we will send you it shortly. Do the companies hire candidates with no experience? Yes, they do. And I wouldn't say with no experience, guys. With the experience that you get, it's like equal to a lot. So I can tell you, for example, from I've been working for different companies, and even now we have manual QAs. They don't know how to perform API testing, for example, that can hardly do any SQL testing. So after this course, guys, you will know it all. So which will put you actually higher than those guys, and those guys actually have quite a bit of experience. So I wouldn't say that experience matters. It's not about experience. It's about your knowledge and about your value that you provide to the company. And value is not equal to experience. Yeah, there is another question about full-time, part-time. Yeah, there are some part-time opportunities as well. Most of the jobs are actually full-time or contract. So contract is kind of, they usually guarantee you 40 hours per week. Everything on top of that is extra. For full-time, they basically, you have to work for 40 hours per week. If it's extra, it's not, you're not gonna get paid for that. But yeah, there is a plenty of different options. You would need to basically discuss that with the hiring manager. The automation course, yes, we do have automation. It's completely different from manual, assuming that you know the basics. So it's mostly focused on coding and Selenium WebDriver. So we're not gonna cover like how to write your resume. That's all covered within the manual QA course. You can do both at the same time. It's okay, but I would say you need to have more spare time for that because you will be pretty busy doing two courses. Yeah, guys, our goal here to get you your job. So we help you no matter what. We go above and beyond, and you once we get to the job search portion of the course, you will actually get to know that.
And another lesson, there was a question like, will be on Tuesday at 6 p.m. in Los Angeles time, PST. And yes, it will be for free as well.
So yeah, today we're a little bit behind the schedule. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. This particular class is, I believe we have 110 slides, something like that. So it's very easy for us to you know to do it longer. 120. Okay, yeah. So we adjusting every time, but it's still goes out of hand sometimes. So sorry about that. But the rest of the classes are usually all on time, and it's supposed to be 1 hour and 30 minutes. Yes. I wouldn't recommend you to read any books or anything just because a lot of books are outdated. A lot of books are very, very high level. So you read it and you have no idea what they're talking about. And then another one, you can find some discrepancies because different people in different companies may treat different things differently, right? They can call sanity test, smoke test, and stuff like that. I know you don't know like anything about both, right? But it can be very confusing. That's what I'm trying to say. So just stick to the course and you'll be good. And is it possible to find a job after this course? Absolutely. Wesley, for example, he got hired after this course. And he's one of, 160 students who got hired so far. For automation, we teach Java. Java is still the most popular language for QAs in particular, not for development, right? Why are we doing Java? Because it's the most popular, and that's it. We actually had Python course, but it wasn't that popular. So for now, we kind of, we're not doing Python. If it becomes more popular than Java, we will do it the next day. We have everything, but it's just not that popular. And for us, why popular, right? You can translate that to how easy to get the job. So whatever language gives you job with the less effort, that's what we teach. What's your dog's name? I have two. So there is some questions about competitors. Don't want to go too much into details, but we claim we are the best QA school. That's my personal opinion. You can trust me, but I would say just try it out. Most of the schools offer some free trial, like we do, for example. If you compare, probably you will get back to us.
There is a question, where is a better place to live, like San Francisco or Seattle, in terms of tech market? I can tell you guys these cities are becoming like more equal. There is like a lot of jobs in Seattle, like Amazon, Microsoft, and more and more. And I think like San Francisco is still bigger, but if you will live in Seattle, like it's still a good place, and you will save a lot of money on income tax if you will live in Seattle.
Yeah, prices are higher in Silicon Valley as well. So it's a tough comparison. Usually people who lives in Silicon Valley, they live there for different reasons. Not because like the highest compensation or something like that. It's a special mindset. So there is a question about certification like ISTQB and stuff. Most of the employers don't ask for those, and I would say a lot of them don't even know about those certifications. I'm actually doing ISTQB right now. I'm asking people. I know a lot of people who has it, but so far I think it's not that important for employers.
There was a question regarding our accreditation. Yes, guys, we showed you in the beginning our like license. I mean, it's not a license; it's more like an exempt. So we are officially certified to do classes in California.
Yeah, any institution like bootcamp, well, at least in California, has to get that certification from BPPE. It's not like university status. That one is tough. We're not university, right? But we have to comply still. So I think we're ready for the raffle.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, guys. Nadir, I think I will steal your session.
Yeah, guys, just one question. I'm seeing a lot of homework related questions. So basically, the way we go is, so today's live class. So you would need to watch a couple of videos at home, and then we have a quiz and homework. So you need to do that before the next class. So basically, you have a couple of days to do that. In fact, Saturday and Sunday, you can find a lot of bugs. You have a lot of time to find plenty of bugs and win the competition. Yeah, I'm seeing some people saying like, yeah, I'm putting it out there to win. Yeah, of course. And it's not just about like money, guys. The more you practice, the better for you. It's that simple.
Yep. Okay, guys, I'm gonna pick the winner real time, so you can see my screen. I'm gonna use a Google random number generator. So, and let's do it all together. So I will get a list of responders. Take number from 3 because the first one is mine. I just tested it. So from number 3 up to number, where is it? 262, right? Alex, you are the last one who filled this out. Okay, so let me go here. Let me put 3 and 262, right? And 1, 2, 3. Now, like winner is number 17, and let's find out who it is. And the winner is okay, I'm sorry, like it's if I misread your name, winner is Babachunt Ogunsola. Okay, congratulations. If you're here, let us know. You can write in the Zoom chat, and you can contact our people from sales, and they will give you a course for free. Again, congratulations, and we'll see you probably on the next session.
Yeah, with this being said, guys, let's wrap it up. If you have any questions, please just use the chat on our website. And that's actually one of the best additions that we just introduced, as well as the brand new LMS system. So we're working very hard on to provide the best experience possible. So thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.